Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Dezey here. I'm here to talk to you about one of the top 3 dragons in video game history. We have Final Fantasy's Bahamut, and we have Dark Souls' pain in the ass dragon on that stupid ass bridge. Then we have Vainglory's very own baby boy Scarf. Now, when you get done with this spotlight, you are going to realize how terrifying Scarf actually is. Now let's get started.
Starting with Scarf's heroic perk, Fan the Flames. It gives extra damage based on a percentage of the target's hit points. This can proc only when the target has been ignited by any of Scarf's fire-based abilities. Scarf's auto attack range is only 5.5 meters, and it can be very dangerous if you are not positioned well or built properly. Be patient and smart, and you will see that his auto attacks will be surprisingly strong. Scarf's A ability, Spitfire, is Vainglory's longest ranged, non-ultimate ability. As you level the ability, the missile speed will increase. Be sure to adjust your sniping accordingly. I will always max this first and take its overdrive. Scarf's B ability, Goop, is a AoE massive slow. The puddle of goop can be ignited by Spitfire or Dragon Breath. You can use Goop's slow mechanic to zone and help allies escape or chase enemies. The Goop is highly effective in choke points throughout the jungle. Goop is a very forgiving ability for Scarf. Even if you miss your Spitfire, as long as you can ignite the Goop, you can still cause plenty of damage using the passive on Fan the Flames. I like to lead with Goop to slow the enemy and make the target a sitting duck for my Spitfires. The ignite damage from the Goop and Spitfire adds amazing burst. When chasing enemies as Scarf, remember that the Goop can be ignited even if the enemy is burning from a previous Spitfire. Ignite damage and damage over time will be applied. The AoE component of Goop is an amazing tool for Scarf when dealing with bunched up enemies. It is an AoE slow and AoE burst, and you'll have multiple targets for Fan the Flames. I will max this ability second and take its overdrive. At 5 ranks on Goop, you can have up to 2 flaming puddles at a time. This creates a powerful zone on the battlefield. In this fight, I create 2 flaming Goops that separate the enemy's only tank away from the carries. My team focuses the lance, and the advantage is easily in my favor. Scarf's ultimate, Dragon Breath, is a conal attack that starts with an initial slow on enemies in its path, followed by a stream of fire that has innate shield piercing bonuses. Allies on the other side of the inhale get a speed boost if they are closing in on your targets. While using Dragon Breath, you are unable to do anything else but exhale for 3 seconds. You can direct Scarf in any direction that you please. You can also use your active on your boots to increase the chasing speed of your Dragon Breath. Because you can cause so much more damage in 3 seconds with Scarf's other abilities, I only use Dragon Breath when the enemy is fleeing and out of the range of my auto attacks and my Goop. I will never initiate with the ultimate because you can easily be stunned and focused by the enemy team. There has never been a game where I have ever maxed out this ultimate. I only take it to 2 ranks. Scarf's combos are very easy. Lead with the Goop and follow with the Spitfire. Maintain auto attacks to get the procs on Fan the Flames. The combo is incredibly simple, but the positioning is incredibly important. Getting in close leaves you vulnerable to getting collapsed on. Being a successful Scarf is dependent on getting all your skill shots. Stay aware and use your allies' crowd control to help with your aiming. Now let's move on to the items. The first item I show you will probably make you scoff and be like, Dezey, what the hell are you doing building an alternating current on Scarf? He is a bursty mage. You are trash, and so is this video. But before you exit the video, give me a couple minutes to explain and show you why it is better than a Frostburn and even a Shatterglass. Start the game off with a Swift Shooter and 2 potions. Scarf's initial projectile speed is absolutely pitiful and makes it very difficult to get last hits unless you get that Swift Shooter. Luckily, it builds into the alternating current. You get 70% bonus damage based on the crystal power that you have for every second auto attack. Add that with the Fan the Flames proc and very fast attack speed. I'll show you the numbers in a second. On the way to building an alternating current, make sure you get early boots, an energy battery, and a reflex block. Better movement speed will aid in rotations. The energy battery will help you sustain your energy and spam your attacks. The reflex block will help you from getting killed. The next thing you want to rush is going to be your broken myth. The shield pierce and the extra 35% bonus crystal power damage are invaluable to the late game that Scarf can provide. Your last offensive item is going to be the Eve of Harvest. This helps you sustain not only energy, but also health from getting all that lifesteal. This is a very potent offensive build for Scarf. It does burst over time, and with the Eve of Harvest, you will have healing over time as well. And as a public service announcement, do not build full offense. Along the way, you're going to want to build an Aegis and a metal jacket. The high amount of armor will keep you alive if anyone decides to dive you. Finish off the build with Halcyon Chargers. They are the most perfect item for a mage. This is my favorite build that I have gotten tons of victories with. The full burst build is going to replace the alternating current with a Shatterglass. I'll never get a Frostburn because your Goop and your Dragon Breath have a powerful slow. Now it's time for some math. I'm going to show you the difference between my favorite burst over time build versus the full burst Mage Scarf. In this matchup, I've highlighted in yellow for the builds that have the advantage. The flat burst build has a staggering 90 crystal power advantage over my burst over time build, but the alternating current gives my build a total of 201% attack speed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 auto attacks per second. The scenario I've given to Scarf is how much damage he can apply in 6 seconds, assuming that you've hit all your skill shots and your auto attacks. The burst build will win in damage on both Spitfire and Goop. However, in 6 seconds, the burst over time gets 12 attacks, but the burst build only gets 7. My burst over time build also has the procs of the alternating current, while the burst build does not have anything. Lastly, I calculate the Fan the Flames procs. The extra 5 attacks give my burst over time build an advantage here. Adding up the totals, my burst over time build will win with almost 1,000 points over. Another factor that puts the alternating current build ahead is that it makes farming a lot easier, but more importantly, if you are a pleb like me and miss your Spitfires from time to time, having the alternating current is much more forgiving. With that in mind, the gap between these two builds will only widen. But Dezey, are there times where the Shatterglass is better than the alternating current? Yes. The only time I've found this useful is when you're going against a triple ranged composition. Other than that, I recommend the alternating current build, especially if the enemy team has at least 2 melee heroes. Now let us move on to the laning phase. If you are new to the lane and or haven't watched my Ringo Hero Spotlight, I advise you to pause and watch that. In that video, I detail many laning mechanics, as well as the compiled data for all the heroes and their ability ranges and gap closing distances. Now let's learn about how to set up ganks as Scarf. I like to freeze the lane close to my turret and force the enemy to overextend. Ping your jungler to notify them of an easy gank. Be aware of what types of crowd control abilities they possess and follow with a Goop and Spitfire for an easy kill. If your jungler does not have any crowd control, lead with a Goop to slow and allow them to run up and use their abilities. Once you have a decent amount of items, farming is very easy for Scarf. He can take entire waves of minions in just a few seconds. The alternating current and flaming Goop puddles are the key to farming quickly. And now, to showcase how strong the alternating current build is, we move to team fighting. As a Scarf, your priorities are as follows. 1. Positioning. Don't overextend, don't get caught. Put yourself in an advantageous location to poke your enemies down. 2. Build broken myth stacks. Your long-range Spitfires can help you gain some free stacks if you can snipe well. 3. Goop. Goop is the bread and butter for Scarf and teamfights. The zoning and the damage over time it provides is an incredible tool. And lastly, number 4, Fan the Flames. Not much can withstand the full onslaught of this build, so as long as you get your procs of burning targets, you can chunk your enemies in seconds. The best team compositions are 2 tanky allies that can soak up damage and provide crowd control. Scarf will be untouched while melting his opponents. In this team fight, I sit back and build my broken myth stacks. The moment I reach 5, I can easily burst down any of these allies no matter how tanky they are. The Yozo gets chunked down very quickly. In this next team fight, I position myself between the enemies and the wall. I coordinate my Goop Spitfire combo with my allies' crowd control abilities for easy kills. I continue to get my snipes on the Arden with my Spitfire. By the time you watch this video, patch 122 will be out. The new camera shift mechanic will allow Scarf to be a much better sniper. Sieging with the Kraken is incredibly easy with Scarf. Your long-range abilities can easily target the turret safely. But watch as I get focused by the enemy team. I get close to near death, but my Eve of Harvest and the strong alternating current build allows me to replenish much of my health by the end of the fight. Even though your damage is reduced on turrets, you can still burn through them very quickly. Turrets and vein crystals can be set on fire, and the high attack speed that you have can rip through the turrets very quickly. This clip here is a great example of how positioning can help win you fights. I stay behind my tanks and help poke from a distance. The moment I see the Ringo come at me, I run away. And once my Phinn positions himself to protect me, I go back in for the easy kills. For another public service announcement, there are times when you're going to have your roam very low health and very low energy. Be a good guy jungler and give him that healing minion. Strengthen the bond between your roam and your carry. In this battle in the lane, the enemy Lance engages on my team. He overextends and I use my auto attacks to build broken myth stacks. I don't waste any of my abilities on him. I save it for the squishy targets and can kill them with just 1 round of abilities. Coordination and awareness with your teammates is a very important skill to have for successful team fights. Now you might be in a situation where the enemy is dominating you the entire game. Do not give up, do not rage, work with your team and make sure you farm as much as you can. The moment you get enough gold to complete the build that I have given you, you will be an unstoppable force. In this team fight, the Ozo dives on me, but he gets stunned by my allies. As he is stunned, I reposition myself far away from him, where I can kite him down. The moment he dies, the enemy is on the run. I use my Dragon Breath to slow them down with my boots to chase them down and get the kill. In this last team fight, I stay just outside Gauntlet's range. I continue to poke from a distance until I get the Crucible from my ally that allows me to move in and chase the enemy. At this point, I had enough gold to build a metal jacket and my full offensive build. This guy is doing nothing to me. The Sky started off 8-2, carrying the beginning of the game. However, I counter-built to defend myself against her. This game was difficult and we got killed many times early on. We started the game 15-5, but as a collective group, we played safe and smart and ended up the game 15-14. Thank you for watching my Scarf Spotlight. It is about an hour and a half before the Phinn Skin event is over, and I grinded all night to get this video done so that 2 lucky subscribers can get a Phinn Skin. Stay tuned for more spotlights. My next hero is going to be on a roamer for sure. Until then, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter for updates and VG related stuff, all at the Dezey. See you all next time, and good luck on the Halcyon Fold.